Good afternoon. It's Monday, January 7. I'm Herman Green with your midday news. A special welcome if you're watching online at onespotmedia.com. Mere hours before the end of another state of public emergency, there has been a fatal shooting in the area. This time it's in the corporate area. 14-year-old Shanique Clark of Lyndhurst Road was killed in the St. Andrews South Police Division last night. The Hunts Bay Police report that shortly before 11 o'clock, Shanique was among a group of persons socializing on Bowens Road off Spanish Town Road. The group was attacked by a gunman. 4 persons were shot. Shanique was pronounced dead at hospital while the others are being treated. The state of emergency in sections of the corporate area expires today. The security measure, which was imposed on September 23 last year, covers communities in the Kingston Central, St. Andrews South, and Kingston West police divisions. Meanwhile, 2 persons were fatally shot on Upper Ward Close off Red Hills Road in St. Andrew last night. They are 54-year-old dressmaker Pearl McHeron and 34-year-old Harold Dowse, otherwise called Harry and Brian, both of Upper Ward Close addresses. Reports are that about 9:20, Miss McHeron and Mr. Dowse were walking in the area when they were attacked by persons who opened gunfire, hitting them. The police say their bodies were found later with multiple bullet wounds. Following an increase in the number of women and children killed last year, the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Community Safety and Security Branch, CSSB, says it will be turning its focus to the protection of these individuals. The announcement was made by head of the CSSB, Senior Superintendent of Police, Steve McGregor. He was addressing returning residents in St. James recently.
We ask of our citizens to be more accommodating of our female. Don't be as aggressive as we are. The first thing to do is to hit them down or to do, because as we always say, their strongest part of them is their mouth. So they will tell you things, but they can't kill you. So why should a male first inclination is to kill a female? Can't be good. That is a weak man. A man that needs attention.
As the Ministry of Health ramps up its initiative to reduce the number of breeding sites for the Aedes aegypti mosquito, concerns are mounting about the increased number of cases in the parish of Westmoreland. According to Health Minister Dr. Christopher TUFTON, there has been a 3-fold increase in the number of breeding sites in the parish. He highlighted one of the major challenges his team faces.
A big part of the challenge that we face in controlling these mosquito breeding sites is the lack of piped water in many of these communities. So people have to use containers, and these containers are oftentimes not covered, and it becomes a fertile breeding site for the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
But despite that fact, Dr. Tufton noted that additional help will be provided to the vector control team in Westmoreland.
We're going to be boosting the support that they will get in terms of the logistics. We're going to be adding some additional workers through the Hope Ministry of Health Vector Support Aid Program. They currently have 36 with 9 permanent staff and 33, I think it is, 33 temporary. We're going to add another 20 or 25 to give them better and fuller coverage.
The minister also noted that additional vehicles will be provided to ramp up vector control efforts in the parish. He pointed out that Westmoreland has over 100 suspected cases of dengue fever in the last year, as well as 4 confirmed cases. The Aedes aegypti mosquito is responsible for the spread of the dengue, Zika, and chikungunya viruses. The Discovery Bay Community Development Committee is accusing the government of ignoring their petition. Chairperson of the committee, Lee Arboyne, says the residents are not in support of the Dolphin Cove attraction being built in the area, as they believe it poses a threat to the bay and its marine life. 17,000 persons have signed a petition for the government to withdraw its permit for the construction of a new Dolphin Cove attraction in Discovery Bay, St. Anne. The petition was delivered to the Office of the Prime Minister by the Discovery Bay Community Development Committee last month. But chairperson for the committee, Lee Arboyne, says despite the petition surpassing the 15,000 target, the calls are still being ignored. Speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica program this morning, she criticized the government for not acting on the people's behalf.
It's about time government acts on the behalf of the people and not just about people who have got money. We need to be heard. We are not inconsequential. You know, we have actually started a petition. We have more on that petition than you had for cockpit country. Yet that government has not responded to us. The Prime Minister has been so disrespectful to us as a people. He has not even accepted that we've sent a petition in.
The Discovery Bay Community Development Committee has objected to the construction of the facility adjacent to the Puerto Seco beach. They claim that Discovery Bay is a fish sanctuary and excrement from dolphins will not be quickly washed out into the open sea, posing a health threat to swimmers.
The excreta from the dolphins will build up in that bay, will create a lot of ecological damage to the bay, to the reef, to the grass, and, you know, and to the swimmers, because we'll be swimming in bacteria. So we cannot, for the life of us, understand why NEPA has granted a permit to Guardsman and Mr. Borrow for this dolphin cove. Dolphinariums are being phased out all over the world. Why are we having a fifth dolphin on a north coast?
Ms. Arboin says she received a call from Minister without Portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Daryl Vaz, to meet and discuss the matter.
Minister Vaz got someone to phone me to say that could we have a meeting. I'm hoping that that meeting will be very soon, and I'm hoping that that meeting will resolve this issue. However, we want the minister to know, and we want the government to know that, you know, the people of Discovery Bay matter. We have a voice. Please listen to our voice. You cannot talk about being environmentalists and, you know, we're talking about phasing out plastic bags and so on, and you're going to damage your reef.
The management of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, has uncovered what is believed to be a major racket in which several of its drivers who had been granted sick leave have taken up temporary duties as crane operators at the island's ports. It's understood that the probe into the racket concluded late last year. According to information reaching our news center, at least 6 JUTC drivers have so far been identified in the racket. They were on protracted sick leave after presenting medical certificates which stated that they should only carry out light duties due to various ailments. The management of the JUTC became suspicious and launched an investigation which revealed that the drivers were working at the ports while on sick leave. JUTC Managing Director Paul Abrahams has confirmed the reports.
Yeah, that is correct. We got some intelligence regarding this issue, and we conducted our own investigations, our management and our security department, and found it to be so. And we took the action to resolve the matter.
Mr. Abrahams said the drivers involved in the racket had a responsibility to advise the JUTC on any changes to their health status, but failed to do so.
Employees are on sick leave for various issues, then they are to report to the JUTC or to be advised on their sick condition, their ill condition.
It's reported that in one case, a driver was on sick leave for up to 190 days with full pay. 1 week after the ban on single-use plastic bags, styrofoam and plastic straws took effect, vendors in Savila-Mar, Westmoreland say they are finding it difficult to adapt to the change. TVJ's O'Shane Masters has their story.
It has been 1 week since the government placed a ban on single-use plastic bags and the importation of styrofoam and plastic straws. But vendors who operate in the Savannah-Lamar market in Westmoreland say they are still not ready for the change. They complain that the alternative is not as effective as plastic bags.
If we even use a paper bag, it's not going to help us because the paper bag will tear, and if rain should fall, it have to just tear up and get soft. So the plastic bag will affect us very bad when we don't have it, because it's so economic. That's if you're going to a party and come in and you want some provision at the market, you can just come without a bag.
If it's not for this bag,
The people wouldn't have anything to put their fish into to go home.
Not only that, but the cost associated with using alternative methods to package food items is a major concern. The vendors say it's much cheaper to use plastic bags.
With plastic bag, we can just take a $10, then can just give me a $10 for a bag and we just give them the goods in it and, them gone, so I don't know where to go.
One vendor believes the ban is not the answer, as the use of plastics is not the problem.
It's not the bags is the problem, it's the people is the problem, And when we check it out, we don't have nowhere to put garbage. If you drink a soda, what are you going to do? Just put the bottle in your pocket and go and walk? We need more garbage bins. We need garbage bins on every corner. In every 5-10 steps you make, we should have 2 waste baskets, and we would eliminate some of the problem.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, a researcher at think tank Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, believes it could be a long time before Jamaicans are fully compliant with the ban on single-use plastics. The ban came into effect on January 1 and applies to scandal bags and plastic straws. The importation of styrofoam containers has also been banned. Research officer at CAPRI, Desiree Phillips, says compliance in the early stages will be a challenge.
Key steps have not taken place prior to this ban to ensure that compliance high compliance, that is, can be realized within a short space of time.
However, Ms. Phillips had some suggestions that she believes could boost compliance.
So I think compliance is going to be particularly problematic within the first few months of this ban, but I think the government can remedy this by, getting very aggressive within the early stages, particularly the first few weeks of this ban. I see that the government plans on distributing some 30,000 reusable bags to market vendors. So steps like this should have been taken prior to the implementation of this ban. But however, as I said, they should keep the momentum going and try to do all they can to ensure that there's compliance across the population and that this ban is indeed effective.
President of the Northern Caribbean University, Dr. Lincoln Edwards, is expressing sadness over the recent tragedy which struck the university. This follows the drowning incident of 26-year-old Karanja Gale and Joseph.
Have a God who is the great comforter and healer. And so I encourage all of us to reach out to those who have lost loved ones and to just put our arms around them. There are times and moments in life when words are not enough.
Dr. Edwards was addressing staff members of the university on Friday. It's understood that the 2 men were part of a group that went swimming on December 31 at Frenchman's Bay Treasure Beach in St. Elizabeth. They got into difficulty and disappeared in the water as high tides swept them away. The body of 26-year-old Joseph Anderson was recovered on January 1. Rescuers say his body was covered with what appeared to be shark bites. The Jamaica Defense Force, Coast Guard, and the Marine Police, however, called off the search for the body of Karanja Gale last Thursday. Local divers had told our news team last week that they saw Mr. Gale's body but were unable to retrieve it as it was surrounded by sharks. And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Remember to join us at 7 for the primetime news package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.